Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger of the Dragon's Den, blogger of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between 10 minutes on Orion Radio Television. I'd like to welcome my friends from Oxford Community Television watching, and also those watching on YouTube. Very interesting dynamics occurring around the league this week. Of course, we got a lot of girls basketball a lot of them boys basketball, but we got some major football news coming in here. And it's a huge one because it shocked a lot of people in the league that this move even occurred. Of course, a good friend of mine, Brad Zuby, no longer is the head coach at Stony Creek. He decided to take the Ortonville Brandon job on Thursday. And on Friday on his Facebook, I ended up getting a copy of it and put it on the blog. So I will read out of it shortly. But my thoughts on Zuby leaving. And this is a big one because this is going to affect really two football teams. And also two different leagues, the OAA and also the Flint Metro League. What to expect from Zuby? Brad Zuby had a nice career at Stony Creek. He finished 1918 his 4 years at Stony Creek. He's had a lot of great moments at Stony Creek. Of course, in 2013, he went and beat Lake Orion. It was 36-7. I remember that game very well down the sidelines. It was a shocking moment to see that his Cougars went and beat Stony Creek, went and beat Orion the way they did. And then, of course, I call the comeback where Stony Creek was 14-0 down, came back and beat Adams. They're 14 down, came back and beat Adams, and a great game over at Stony Creek. So that was two of Zuby's best moments at Stony Creek. He took the Cougars to the playoffs in 2013, of course, losing to Adams 17-6. This was a guy that was building a program down at Stony Creek, especially with what Stony Creek was in the last before he got there. Stony Creek was really a team that was struggling to find something, identity. They were in the blue. They struggled for a lot of years there. Then they got in the white. They still struggled there. Now knowing it was two different conferences. But Stony Creek, when Stony Creek went to the red, of course, former coach resigned. And Zuby, of course, ended up taking the job at Stony Creek. So, but knowing Brad Zuby's profile, of course, he was a former assistant coach under Greg Gainesfield when he was at Romeo. He followed him there when Gainesfield became the head coach at Pontiac. Zuby would end up taking the job at Pontiac after Gainesfield left. Now Zuby, before going over to Stony Creek. I look at the interesting comments that I have the copy of Brad Zuby's Facebook post. It was very interesting here. I'm going to read it out to everybody and get thoughts from it. Here's a statement. Dear Stony Creek family, yesterday was one of the toughest days and most emotional days of my professional career. I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you and your support and dedication to our program these past 4 years. It has been an absolute pleasure to coach all of your sons. They are without a doubt some of the finest and young men a coach could ever ask for. It has been a great 4 years at Stony Creek, and I am so very proud of what we have built here. Through the ups and downs, the big wins and heartbreaking losses, we stuck together as a family, and we did it. We did things the right way with character and integrity. I can assure you that my decision to leave Stony Creek was not an easy one. Walking away from a program that has meant so much to me, and explaining to the boys that my life decision was going to interrupt their lives was incredibly painful. There were a lot of tears and hugs yesterday in that weight room. It was a very interesting one. I read half of that comment. I'll read the other half in a couple minutes. My thoughts on that, he's had a lot of great moments. I mean, a lot of them. And it's sad to see a coach like that go. Of course, there were a lot of positives, as I mentioned, but also the negatives. Of course, we all remember what happened in Zuby's second year, I believe, in Zuby's first year in 2012, where there was like an ugly fight between Stony Creek and West Bloomfield. Of course, that led to Brad Zuby's dad, Buzz, getting sucker punched by a player, and the player getting arrested for that game. Remember that one? That was a negative chapter. But when you look at when you look at the history of Stony Creek football, of course, I would put Brad Zuby in the heart of it, even though his win-loss record is not the greatest over there at Stony Creek. But, in the future, this is going to definitely hurt this program because with Zuby gone, that family value is still going to take a hit. It's still going to hurt them. And it's still going to, it'll hurt them. It's going to, because we don't know who the new coach will be over at Stony Creek starting in 2016. Of course, I kind of have an idea who I personally want it to be. I think I want it to be Stony Creek's offensive coordinator, Kyle Schultz. The reason why, he has coaching experience. He coached at Waterford Kettering for a time. And for him to give him a shot, to get him to go back to being a head coach, I think it makes perfect sense for these kids because, Schultz, even though it was his first year last year, I think would create still the principles of Zuby, what he brought into that system over there. So I think Kyle Schultz makes perfect sense, even though the division this year is going to be much tougher. I mean, I think right now, personally, Stony Creek is the fifth best team in that division, in the red division this year, behind Southfield, Clarkston, Troy Athens, Orion, and maybe even Oxford. Maybe Oxford too, because when you look at Stony Creek, I think this is a rough move because of Zuby going to Ortonville Brandon. So it's very interesting, but I can also understand why Zuby decided to take the Brandon job, and that's because of his proximity, his location, because he lives in North Clarkson. I mean, it's kind of like almost a 15, 20-minute drive from North Clarkson to Rochester, and Stony Creek being the eastern part of Oakland County, the eastern part of the OAA, it's kind of like a hassle, whereas for Zuby now, he can at least just go up M15 to Ortonville, and coach his team there and spend more time with his family and his lovely wife, Jenny. So it's a very interesting move. It's a shocking move, to say the least. But this next segment here, of course, will explain the decision of Zuby. Of course, of going to Brandon. Of course, I'll read this to you right now here. I hope you can understand the decision to take the head coaching job at Brandon High School was in the best interest of my young family and will allow me to spend more time with Jenny and our growing family. While continuing to do what I love, I'm very excited to be the new leader of the Brandon Blackhawks and all the challenges that are ahead of me in this new position. But please know that if I can ever do anything for you, do not hesitate to ask. To me, that one is very unique because when I look at that side of it, with Brandon was a playoff team last year. They finished 6-4, lost to Linden in the first round of the state playoffs. Of course, Brandon went into Division III, but they did have some big wins though. I mean, they knocked off Holly, which is gigantic for them because Holly is one of the only Oakland County is the only Oakland County team in the Flint Metro League. But that win actually got them into the playoffs. So that was a huge win at the time for Ortonville Brandon. To get they ended up losing to Linden. It was an interesting game there. Of course, the Flint Metro League is a lot different compared to the OAA. Of course, the Metro, you only have 9 teams in that league. You have range at least 6 of them from Genesee County, 7 of them from Genesee County, and 2 of them from Oakland County. Of course, Clio is right by that Genesee-Tuscola County line. Of course, they're the northern part of that league. You've got Flint Kearsley, who's not bad in there. But you also got Fenton, Linden, Flushing, as well. So very interesting. You got and Fenton, Linden, and Brandon are not bad teams in there. And then you got Shorts Creek, who's also not bad to go along with them. Brandon and Holly, which makes up the Flint Metro League. So not a lot of bickering about realignment or anything. I think because there's no realignment process. I mean, it's you're playing virtually the same teams, and you got to look at playing maybe at least 2 non-conference games. So, very interesting dynamic. 2 or 3 non-conference games. So it's very interesting for Brandon to, when you look at the league that Zuby's going into, to adjust to having a team that's been very successful. I think Zuby will bring his magic over to Brandon. I think he will have success there. But the question is, can he overcome Fenton? Can he overcome Linden? Can he overcome Shorts Creek? Those teams have had a lot of success in the playoffs the last few seasons. It has been the Metro, though, is not a bad league, especially when you look at Holly. When you have a guy like Dave Tooley who's up there still in that wearing the Broncho red, it's kind of odd seeing him wearing Broncho red and not wearing green. You know what I mean? When he was the foreign defensive coordinator at Lake Orion. But when you look at Brandon, I think this is a good spot for Brad Zuby. I think it is. Because the success that he's done there, I think with success he's going to bring to Ortonville Brandon. I think Brandon's a team that is on the way up, but they've had a lot of down years. They've had a lot of tough years. Now, they're going to be a little bit younger than they've been in years past because last year's group was a senior-heavy group. For them to go and beat Holly the way they did on the road at Holly was incredible. They also had some big wins as well. They ended up getting in at 6-3. Of course, Holly got in Division II at 5-4. So, the Metro had a nice year last year in high school football. They had a really nice year, but when you have to produce results. I know that league was won by Fenton. Fenton, of course, is still going to be good. Very talented in that Metro Conference. Now, when I look at Stony Creek, when I look at the program there at Stony Creek, it does hurt that Zuby's gone. But I do like a comment that he did say about Stony Creek. He said this: "I would forever hold the Stony Creek football program close to my heart. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to be your head coach and call Stony Creek home the past 4 years. My home the past 4 years. I'm very confident our outstanding administration at Stony Creek will find the best person possible to carry on the tradition we started. Thank you again for all that you have done to enrich my life in these past 4 years." It's very unique. It's very unique. It was touching. That was a touching Facebook post because when I look at it here, I think the best coach possible for Stony Creek is in his administration. I think it's in I think it's Kyle Schultz. If it's not Kyle Schultz, I'm going to be disappointed. You know what upset me was Scott Merchant, of course, he's the coach of Chippewa Valley. State champs interviewed him just prior to him taking the Warren D. LaSalle job. And then, of course, when he decided not to take the job at Warren D. LaSalle, go back to Chippewa Valley, Tom Markowski immediately talked to him. That's rough. Of course, Scott Bernstein, of course, wrote a blog on Zuby going over there. But when I look at this move for Zuby, I think it's a great move for him. But I was disappointed the lack of media coverage that this move gave Zuby. Because, I think when you look at the big moves, of course, Scott Merchant's a heck of a coach. But when you look at, and he's won a lot of games. He's not saying that Brad Zuby's won a lot of games. I think Zuby's won a lot of games. But I would think that Zuby deserves the more media coverage than because I think when I look at this move, the move from Stony Creek to Brandon was a much bigger move than the one from Chippewa Valley to Warren D. LaSalle. Now, Chippewa Valley and Warren D. LaSalle have two different teams, two different programs. But for a coach, I would probably call the best ever coach Stony Creek's ever had in Brad Zuby. For him to go to Brandon, I mean, some are going to call it a stab in the back. Some are going to call it, maybe it was the right move for him. It doesn't feel to me like it's a stab in the back. It really doesn't. Because when you look at the success he's done at 4 different programs, I mean, he has made great kids into men. Of course, he had a lot of success at Romeo. He had probably one of my favorite jobs is when he took the Pontiac job from Gansfield when Gansfield moved to Westside State. I think when he took the Pontiac job, he brought Pontiac their second playoff appearance. Stony Creek has managed to do very well in the red. They managed to do very, very well, very competitive. I mean, this is a good. Before taking the Stony Creek job, he united Pontiac. He created Pontiac football what it was today, is Brad Zuby. And now, when Zuby left to go to Stony Creek, Pontiac football just went downhill after that. When he took... Now, the question's the ripple effect at Stony Creek with Zuby's departure. Is Stony Creek going to go down? That's a question. I don't know. It's going to take a hit for sure. I think they're maybe the 5th, 6th best team right now in the red division behind, I think this move takes a direct hit when it comes to Stony Creek. But you never know. You really never know. My final thoughts on Zuby leaving. Sad to see a man go, especially when you've had the chance of interviewing him for your blog, for your podcast, for Media Day. Of course, we had a nice conversation with Zuby on OA Media Day. It was a tough loss. I mean, this is a tough loss. It hurts my heart a little bit because, now Zuby's gonna be on with working his magic on Flint Metro's Media Day. It's gonna be a little bit different. You know what I mean? Not to see him there, seeing a new coach at Stony Creek there. It's gonna be a little bit different, but it's just not gonna be the same. So when we come back, we're gonna talk about girls basketball. Of course, a lot of news going around the league, of course, surrounding girls basketball. There's a big one coming Saturday. We'll preview that one for sure here on OA Now.
We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I pay for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Welcome back to OAA NOW. I'm Sammy Taramina. Girls basketball. Of course, a lot of big upsets around the league this week. Two of them, I think, were pretty huge, significant ones. One occurred at Lake Orion, the other one occurred at Oxford. Let's go with the Oxford one because that one really surprised me. Was Oxford 53, Adams 47. Are you kidding me? That was a gigantic upset. Because I can tell you why that was an upset. Because you look at the Oxford Wildcats, they weren't expected to do much or hardly anything. And then to beat a team that like Rochester Adams, a team that I thought played very uninspired in that game against Oxford. I mean, when I look at the stat line, Abigail Bukevich had 20 points. Monet Evans had 17 points, 18 rebounds. Monet Evans, not that big, plays hard, goes out there and gets 18 boards. Are you serious? Excuse me. And then, of course, you have Madeline Morris, 14 points. That's 50 of their 53. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? That they go in there. Excuse me. No, it's a little allergies this morning. But you go in there and you upset a very good Adams team like that. I mean, this is an Adams team that's played a murder's row of schedule who, their record is much better than they indicate. Now, I know Adams is doing a good drive. Adams is doing a very good drive. Before I get into Adams any further, of course, they're trying to get a lot of water donated to Flint. Of course, everybody knows Flint has been affected by the Flint water crisis over there up in Genesee County. So they really appreciate all the help they can get. I know Adams has been working really hard at getting a lot of donated water to send up there to Flint. I think that, and I hope they get to their goal, of getting at least a lot of cases of water. I think that would be a great idea for the city of Flint. Great idea. I would encourage those to those people in the community to donate water, bottled water to the city of Flint because they need it in the worst way possible. So that's what it is. But back to girls basketball. Of course, Adams, they got upset by Oxford 53-47. Bukevich 20, Monet Evans 17, 18 boards. Madeline Morris 14 points. It's 50 of their 53 points. Are you serious? Adams was up 10-9 at the first quarter. And they have getting outscored 18-6 in the second quarter. And then at the end of the third quarter, it was 41-25. Are you serious? It was 41-25 to three quarters. Adams outscored Oxford 22-12 in the fourth, but it really wasn't enough. And Adams ended up losing that game. Now, Adams sits in last place in the OA Red. Who would have ever thought Rochester Adams would be last place in the OA Red? I didn't think Shea Lewis saw this coming. I didn't think the players at Adams saw this coming, that they sit in last place. I didn't see it coming. Everybody around the whole league thought Ox would be the team in last place. But this is a huge win for Coach Steve Emmert. This was a huge win for him. That they would go in there and beat a team like Rochester Adams. Of course, now Adams is a team I know that relies a lot on two players, in Taylor Smith and Maggie Rogers. Maggie Rogers is a very good player. There's no doubt about that. But I think the Taylor Smith thing, bringing her aboard, and I've said this in the past, I don't know if it's worked out. Because Smith, she's getting her points back at Linden. When she was at Linden, she was the girl. She was doing everything for that team. And now you're sharing the spotlight with your AU teammate and Rogers. It kind of develops a situation there. But the problem at Adams is there really has not been a third scorer over there. When you look at Adams last year, of course, they had Amber Jamison, Deja Jenkins, Raven Owusu. Now, Ryan Owusu was supposed to be a third scorer. She's had an up and down season. And then you look at Michaela Smith, who I think clearly has been Adams. Oddly enough, has been Adams' best rebounder. That's very odd to look at Adams. And to see them that, excuse me a minute. This nose thing here. And to see them, to see Rochester Adams is a team that, they having trouble rebounding the basketball. Michaela Smith is your best rebounder. That's not good. No offense there. No offense. Because you have girls like Abby Jackson and Hannah Samard who could take care of the rebounding load. Hannah Samard, of course, she's gotten better. But there's a lot of problems with Adams' girls basketball team right now. There is a lot of problems. And they play Harrison Tuesday, which is going to be an interesting game. And then they play on Friday, they play Orion. And that's not going to be an easy game for Adams. Because when you look at Orion, this is a team that really, they could seriously lose to Orion with the way they've been playing. Now, for Oxford, it does show you that Oxford is getting better. They are improving and they are getting better. Despite the fact that they're virtually playing a schedule that I don't think they have a chance competing in this thing. But they're playing it. They have that big win over Adams is huge for them. They have Stony Creek Tuesday. That might not be a pretty sight. Stony Creek is still, but Stony Creek actually has been struggling. They can't score, and that's shocking. Because they went. When they took on Clarkson a few weeks ago, it was 33-23. Yikes. And then, of course, Stony Creek's been a team that's been having offensive difficulty. I don't know what's going on with that program. They looked really good early in the year, had that monster win against Orion. They have not been the same team since Lathrop. Ever since Southfield Lathrop went and just beat them up pretty bad, they have not been the same basketball team. And I think it's a huge problem. Especially when you get into March, where you have a couple of very good teams in your district with Utica and especially Utica Eisenhower, who's rolling along right now, even though they got their first loss on Friday when they lost to Port Huron Northern. You can't really think about it. Now, I think Stony Creek will fix this problem. I think they'll get out of this funk. But when I look at Stony Creek, this is a team that's going to have to fix their problems offensively. They got to start scoring. They got to start producing. That's Stony Creek right now. You know what I mean? They got to produce offensively if they want to be successful in this league. They have the defense to do it. Their defense is one of the best in the entire league. But, we'll see what happens. But back to Oxford, of course, the Wildcats are a team that, they're going to be a dangerous threat in the playoffs. Of course, they play Waterford Mott in the first round of the district playoffs, which is going to be a very good game, I think. The matchup I'm looking forward to in that game would be Mariah Williams and Waterford Mott going up against Grace Cleveland. That, I think, whoever wins that matchup, I think will win the game. Because, when you look at Waterford Mott, you have Monica Renicky, Liam Hung. Waterford Mott's guards are very good. They're very, very good. To go up against Abigail Bukevich, and of course the emergence of this team. I mean, like, Abigail Bukevich really has had to carry this Oxford Wildcat team until her supporting cast have gotten better, and they have gotten better. That tough schedule has really helped them out a lot, for sure, when you look at the Oxford Wildcats. Now, I bashed them early in the year saying that I don't know if they were going to win one game. They're going to win some games, I think, in the second go-around. It wouldn't surprise me, even though the schedule was much tougher. Because they would have Latham coming to Oxford. They have to go to Clarkston. They host Stony Creek. They go to Adams. They have to go to Lapeer, which is going to be very dangerous. So Oxford, they're getting there. They are getting there. That's interesting, to say the least. The other game that shocked me around the league was North Farmington and Orion. Of course, the Dragons won that game 34-31, brought North Farmington back to the pack. Now they sit the game back at three teams: Bloomfield Hills, North Farmington, and West Bloomfield. Of course, North Farmington and West Bloomfield play on Tuesday. West Bloomfield plays Troy. No, sorry, Bloomfield Hills plays Troy, and Orion plays Royal Oak. But when looking at the Dragons, this was a game I thought that could have gone either way. I thought the officiating I thought was fair. It was good fishing, I thought, in my opinion. But I was very impressed with the defense Lauren Dorn did to Kira Crockett. Kira Crockett was tearing everybody apart limb from limb. She was having a great year, you know what I mean? She's still capable of having a very good year. I mean, but she was shut down by Lauren Thorne. I mean, I don't think anybody has seen Kira Crockett get frustrated like that in a long time. And that's what happened in this game with Orion. Now, she got into early foul trouble, which was shocking. I was shocked that the Orion defense shut down Alexa Cherney as well, and limiting Samantha Cherney to 10 points. Now, it was a defensive slugfest. I mean, but North Farmington did shut down Evelyn Wishmeyer. And that's pretty hard to do. You know what I mean? When you look at Oxford, I know has had success shutting Wishmeyer down, but North Farmington always shut her down to 2 points. Orion's got a girl named Mandy Novak who's gotten going. She had 18 points in that game against North Farmington. Novak, it would not. I don't know why people aren't talking a lot about Maddie Novak, because especially for newcomer of the year and freshman, newcomer of the year, only a freshman. I mean, this girl for the next 3 years in Dragon Green is going to she's going to just be a dominant force, if not already. She's proven that to be. You look at Novak, what she has done to this Lake Orion team is given them an extra dose of energy, an extra dose of scoring punch, a presence I have not seen before since Bethany Waterworth. And that's saying a lot here. And that's why, I think in the second go-around, it would not surprise me if Orion sweeps through this. It would not surprise me because, you look at the OAA, you look at the white division, of course, anybody can be beat on any given day. But, the 2 losses Orion had in league, Wishmeyer did not play in both those games. I think Wishmeyer makes a huge impact in both those games when they play Bloomfield Hills and when they play North Farmington, and when they play West Bloomfield. When I look at North Farmington, of course, Sophie Muller I thought she played very well in that game. I thought she played well. I thought that, when I look at Samantha Cherney, I thought, she hit she's known to hit threes, but the 1 3 she hit in the second quarter, I would probably say it was pure luck that she hit that, because Orion did very well defensively in that game. That game probably was the greatest game Orion played defensively, and against North Farmington, who is known about their program. Of course, Jeff Simpson was a former player under Todd Negoshin. Of course, he knows the press, the trap. So I'm curious to see what happens when Orion goes down to North Farmington in February. Of course, dealing with that pressure trap. And it's going to be a tough game for him. And then, of course, the big defensive match between Lauren Thorne and Kiera Crockett. I'm surprised a lot of people have not talked a lot about Lauren Thorne, what she can do. I mean, what she did to Kiera Crockett was just shut her down. She just literally shut her down and almost got sucker punched for it. Almost got sucker punched for it in the early parts of the first quarter. But you got to give the Dragons credit, though, for winning that game against North Farmington. You got to give them that. You got to give Orion credit. And we'll see what happens. They play Royal Oak on Tuesday and then Adams on Friday. We'll see what happens. The big matchup of the weekend is going to be on Saturday between Southfield and Southfield Lathrop. Lathrop's the established program on the block, where Southfield, of course, still the new kids on the block. Of course, nobody's giving them any respect. That game on Saturday is going to be absolutely huge, because you look at that game, a lot of star athletes on that team. You got Alex Johnson, you got Sterling Madsen, Crystalline Defoe, among others who are very talented for Coach Jamie Gintz. And this is the test going up against your arch rival in Southfield Lathrop, where you have the Bello twins, you have Deja Church and Antoinette Miller. This is going to be so tough for Southfield, because Lathrop is an established team. But if you think about it, Southfield's got a chance in this game if they can get the Bellows in the foul trouble, and also Church and Antoinette Miller. It's got to be a physical game if you want to beat Southfield Lathrop. It has to be. And you have to make sure the officiating is on your side. Because if you can get their top 4 players at least in the foul trouble, Southfield's got a shot at winning this game. I don't know if it'll happen, but if Southfield were to pull off a monumental upset in this game, then it tells me that Southfield will be for real. But right now, I can't take Southfield in this game, and I think Lathrop will win this game and prevail handily over Southfield. But Southfield's got a shot at this thing. They do got a chance. I do wonders, of course. The Blue Jays, I think, has got a great. They're a good team. Both teams are going to be very good in the Battle of Southfield. Of course, next year they're all going to merge and become Southfield High Warriors. So that's I still can't understand that name, and I still can't understand their color scheme. I really can't understand that. Why would they go with the name Southfield Warriors? To me, that's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, to be honest with you. The name Southfield Warriors, I can understand the red is the color scheme, but plain blue, no. You got to go dark blue. That's what I think personally. But this will be a heck of a game between Southfield and Southfield Lathrop, because it is going to happen, the final regular season meeting ever between Southfield and Southfield Lathrop. It'll probably be a packed house. It'll be a heck of a game between those two teams. But I just think, end of the day, nobody's touching Lathrop. Not even anybody in the white. Not even, they're going to get they'll get it. I think that the Detroit Renaissance, I'm not sold on the Detroit Renaissance, but I just don't think, I don't think anybody's going to touch them. I know they got a non-conference game with Detroit Country Day coming up. But I just don't think even Detroit Country Day can knock off Southfield how good they are. With Southfield Lathrop, how good they are. So we'll see what happens. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about boys basketball here. Of course, some thoughts about what's going on around the league in the boys circuit here on OA Now.
Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taramina, co-host of Between Taraminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV.
Welcome back to OA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina. Interesting around the boys basketball circuit. A lot of recapping some of the best wins around the league. Of course, Clarkson's rolling, North Farmington's rolling. Adams took their first loss last week. But North Farmington, ever since that Clarkson loss, has been killing people, literally left and right. The White's starting to become a very fun division, of course. The Pontiac Phoenix sit 10-1. And nobody's still talking about the Pontiac Phoenix the way they've been playing. Also, the Blue Division, of course, good as advertised, especially on Friday night at Lake Orion. And also the screw job that Orion got when they lost to Stony Creek. And, of course, the Gold Division, of course, is Hazel Park the front runner in this division or not? When I look at the Gold Division, Hazel Park had a big win the other night over Berkeley. But are they the kings of the division? Yeah, they lead it right now. But do I think a team like Groves could really seriously challenge them? I think they can, because when you look at Groves, they haven't played yet, and they're gonna probably play Friday, which is gonna be a huge game. When I look at Groves, when I look at Hazel Park, they have 8 players. Just 8 players on that team. But all of them are producing and playing very well. So when you look at Hazel Park, the class size is not there, but still. But how are they able to win games? And that's because everybody on that team is producing and winning games. That is why Hazel Park is successful, because of that formula. Now, if you get them into foul trouble, you think about it, when they play a team like Rochester in a few weeks, which I think is I think Rochester will beat them, but it'll be a tough game. But because Rochester's got more depth than Hazel Park, but you never know. Hazel Park could go in and beat Rochester. Be a crazy game. Harrison was looking almighty until Groves beat him Friday night. Groves just killed him. Maybe that it could take him back to earth a little bit. Of course, if you're a team that's on cloud 9, going to this dominant force, you know what I mean? Pride comes before the fall. It really does. Take a quote from Mark D'Antonio, of course, head coach of Michigan State. You look at what happened in that game. Groves was simply the better team than Hazel Park. They really were. And it showed its head. You got to give credit to where credit's due, though, in Groves, because Groves is, Mark West has done a very nice job of that program. Ever since coming over from Madison Heights, Bishop Foley, he's done a nice job. He's done a very nice job. Berkeley, oddly enough, has been struggling a little bit. I'm a little surprised why they're struggling. Ferndale, kind of expected them to struggle. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's the Red Division, of course. Friday was really much of a tale of the strong playing the weak. Probably the best game wasn't even a game. It was a 40-point blowout. Clarkson just took a whooping. Clarkson whooped Southfield. Southfield took a whooping. They lost 78-38. Of course, when I look at Southfield, Southfield's just not there with the program they have. Clarkson shut down Michael Flowers. They proved they were the better team. They just dominated They just dominated Southfield the way they did. Clarkson's just playing very, very loose, very well right now, and it could lead them on a path to the red title again. And then the rich keep getting richer, of course, with the addition of Tyler Meitzen leaving Oxford to go to Clarkston next year. So I guess the Foster Lawyer bandwagon train is starting to lay its effect. If it hasn't already, of course, with the addition of Dylan Alderson from Davison, and now you add a guy, Tristan Meissen, who will be a very good player for Clarkston next season. So, the rich keep getting richer over at Clarkston, and because of the emergence of Foster Lawyer, I think Lawyer is starting to create his influence around the community. He really is. Adams, of course, suffered their first league loss to Clarkston. Went and just beat up on They just went and beat up in the league. They won their game the other night. You look at, and of course, you look at North Farmington. North Farmington is beating people up left and right. They just put a whooping on Troy Athens. Adams beat Southfield late. They're up, of course. Southfield late was taking a really bad week to a whole new level where they just got absolutely clobbered by Adams, and they just get destroyed by North Farmington at home. And, North Farmington's been, ever since that loss to Clarkson, North Farmington's been taking names and killing people left and right. They really have been. And that's a credit to Todd DeGoshen, especially what he's done over there. They've been beating people up, and it was something none other. Of course, I didn't expect Southfield late to get 18 points against North Farmington. Just 9 2-point baskets. Are you serious? I mean, Southfield late, they have athletes. And North Farmington just went and just killed them, took them behind the woodshed and just killed them. Are you serious? One of the most curious games on Thursday I'm looking forward to is West Bloomfield taking on Bloomfield Hills. Now, of course, that is the purple out game, of course, which is going to be very interesting. But it's also the matchup between Mike Mariansky's return to West Bloomfield, because this game here, of course, Mariansky knows Jeremy Denna a lot. He knows him very well. He knows what he likes to do. He knows the players inside out of West Bloomfield, especially Tristan Jackson. It's be an interesting game for sure. It'll be a very unique game. I think West Bloomfield will win that game outright handle. I think they will beat Bloomfield Hills. But a team nobody's talking about that they need to take seriously is the Pontiac Phoenix. Pontiac sits 10-1. The only loss was to Bloomfield Hills. They beat a very good Oak Park team, 52-50 the other night. Pontiac's just rolling right now. They're playing very well. They're playing good basketball. Pontiac plays Troy Friday, which is going to be a very tough game there. I think the Phoenix, this could be a reemergence of the old Pontiac Northern, Pontiac Central days under the watch of Ben Kelso. Now, Kelso's got 3 state championship rings he can throw at you. So he's been very successful as a coach. And then, of course, you have his son, Jalen Kelso, who's played very well. And then, of course, you have that big interior game, Israel Williams and Robert McDonald. I mean, Pontiac right now has been playing very, very well as a unit and as a team. And I think it's starting to show its head that with Pontiac, the way they've been playing, they have a chance maybe of doing some significant damages, especially heading into March. They have they'll have either the Orion, Waterford, Kettering Hornets. I think it'll be likely to be Lake Orion, and it'll be an interesting game between the Dragons and the Phoenix if they get there at Waterford Mott. But I still don't think they're going to beat Clarkson. I just don't think anybody's going to beat Clarkson. Maybe not even for 2 years, 2 more years. I don't know, because that's how good Clarkson is. When you look at when you look at the league, of course, Troy's had a lot of tough luck lately. Of course, I said Troy's a good team, but they're in a bad league. They're in a tough league. They're in a bad league for them because the OAA white, much tougher league than the blue. If Troy was in that division, I think they would be very competitive in that league. But but they're struggling right now. I think they'll get this turned around and fixed. I really think they will get this fixed. Oak Park, of course, they're waiting for the transfers to come in. Of course, the second semester ends. I think it ends probably on Wednesday. So they will have their kids out. They'll have their transfers in for the second semester of the season. I think it starts next week. So very unique situation over there at Oak Park. Of course, I don't think their transfers are still playing right now, but they will be playing by the end of the week. So, and then of course there's Bloomfield Hills. Of course, I know people at the BIF are really happy over at Bloomfield Hills the way they've been playing. You look at the Blackhawks though. You know, are they a for real team? They still got to go to Side Green Gym, which that ain't going to be a pretty game for them when they go to Pontiac. You look at that team and say to me that this team, they're deep. Yes, I understand they're deep. But when you're a deep team, you know, playing time will be sparse. So it's very important for Mariansky to look at his rotation and say, okay, this is where I'm going to go with. Good coaches usually do that. But we'll see what happens. Avondale's been a team I've been very disappointed with. Because when you look at Yellow Jackets, I had a lot of expectation for them. Of course, Tim Morton's a heck of a coach. But they really have not been the same team since that Orion game. They really have not. And actually, take that back. They have not been the same team since they put 84 up on Oxford. 84. Are you serious? I mean, Avondale really has been struggling lately. They had a tough loss to West Bloomfield, but one game doesn't turn around a season. It doesn't. And they're letting that game get to their head, and it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And then, of course, we had the Blue Division. The big one in that league was Lake Orion knocking off Farmington 77-72. It was a crazy game. A lot of different emotions in that game. But also you have Orion, of course, they got screwed by the officials on Tuesday against Stony Creek. Rochester losing to Farmington was a shocker. And then, of course, they had a tough loss to Monroe. And then, of course, they played the Adams. And, of course, they played again. And they bounced back and went over Seaholm. So, good win for John Pleasant and his team to right the ship a little bit. Stony Creek still rolling along. They've been playing. They're playing all right basketball right now. Beat Oxford pretty bad by 13, but that game at Lake Orion is going to be huge for Stony Creek. I think that's the game. I think we'll see where Stony Creek is at. But Stony Creek plays Rochester. Preview that game. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. I think the difference there is going to be Stony Creek's 3-point shooting. I think Stony Creek wins that game over Rochester on the road. It'll be a good game, though. It'll be a tough, close game. Orion Oxford. No words can say about how good this game is. Jordan Jane versus David Gomez. Whichever role player shows up, or it's Lavender or Noah Harris, wins this game. I think Orion's got way too much depth, though, than Oxford does. I think Orion will win this game. It'll be a tough game, though. I think Oxford fans will be right in this game. Of course, I know the people at OCTV are going to be jumping up and down for joy every time Oxford makes a basket. You know, and they'll probably be more amped up because it's Lake Orion. And we all know that rivalry. I think Orion wins that game over Oxford. And then Farmington against Seaholm. I think that Seaholm is going, Farmington's a team that defensively, their pride shot because they haven't played well defensively. But you look at the Falcons. This is a team that has a lot of questions defensively. Offensively, they're not bad. Seaholm, they don't score a lot of points. They put it 64 against Oxford. But, they don't score a lot of points. I think, and I remember the last time Farmington went into Birmingham, they lost to Seaholm. And Terrence Porter was so upset that he called for practice the hours later because he was that upset with this team. Now, I don't think he'll go to that extreme again, but I know he was disappointed at the Orion loss with the defense that they played in that game. Farmington's a deceptive 1-8. I think they could get their second win on Friday night against Seaholm. But they better be careful. Seaholm's a very scrappy team. I think they'll get it. I think Farmington will get this win, but you can't count out Seaholm, especially with the way they've been playing. Lately, they're scrappy, they're tough, mentally, mindset. It would be a heck of a game. But at the end of the day, I just think that Seaholm, it will not be enough. I think Farmington will find a way, snap this losing streak, and they'll win this game over Seaholm. So we'll see what happens this week around the league. A lot of things going around the league. Of course, cheerleading invitationals. We've had wrestling invitationals, of course. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm signing out, everybody. Good day, everybody. Good luck and God bless all. Good night. Good night, everybody.
OAA Now is produced at Orion Neighborhood Television, Lake Orion's community media outlet. To learn more about ONTV, visit our website at www.orionontv.org or call us at 248-393-1060.